complete and total utter domination by the Tennessee Titans. And I don't love starting the show with a victory lap for you and I, but my God, did we tell you guys last week what the game plan should be? And I feel like they were actually listening to the show, because it was, I don't know what the exact list was, but it was bring pressure on defense, maybe try some new stuff and be creative to pressure the quarterback. Check, did that. Get some of those, build the offense around Derrick Henry and the running game. Check, we did that. Get creative with some of those play callers. Check. Force feed NWI. I said that tongue in cheek on the show, but now I'm not kidding. Now we need to force feed NWI the rest of the season. They just kept doing all the things that we sort of said, this is what we need to see. And most importantly for me, mental toughness, a rebound for Mike Vrabel's coached football team. As it's unfolding, Zach, what's going through your heads?
I'm like,
multiple
maybe
heads.
There's a new home field advantage, I guess. Like, it's weird. At home, they've scored 27 points now in each of their home games and have won. They purposely denied the masses 30 points, by the way. They could have kicked a field goal, and they denied the masses, and no one has asked Mike Vrabel, why do you refuse to score 30 points? Someone man up and ask him this week, you had a chance to score 30 points to break a long-standing drought. Why did you choose not to do it? And they could have done it. But I called it at like 1:34 p.m. at halftime. I said, the Titans are going to go in. They're going to come out. They're going to score one field goal the rest of the game because they refused to score 30. And they really did.
Maybe the symmetry of the 27-3 loss to Cleveland in the worst performance in basically Mike Vrabel's entire career, maybe 50 years in the franchise's history, and the 27-3 win in which they looked like they are the best football team I have seen. In again, their offensive. This is just Football Reference. One of many numbers we'll throw at you today. Over 18 expected points from the offense in terms of their adjusted efficiency, according to Pro Football Reference. That's the highest since they beat Houston in 2021. So it's as good as an offensive.
It's been a long time since that good of a team in all three phases has graced the two-tone blue. Like that's been a while. I would say that probably it feels like not since the days of 2020 have we seen a truly, well, I guess I would say the Chiefs in 2021 was a truly dominating performance, but it's hard to put into words because I still don't think this team is anything, but I do think this team can at least provide exciting football over the next course of the few weeks if the offensive line holds up, if the defensive backs hold up. That, to me, is the biggest thing because I'm not worried about the offensive play calling. I'm not worried about the head coach. I'm technically not worried about the quarterback or the pass catchers or the running backs or the defensive line. I'm not really worried about anything except for two big things, and that is your offensive line and your defensive backs. And this was a week where everybody did their job admirably, even though I do think that I thought Andre Dillard looked pitiful in the run game at times. They had to pull Aaron Brewer back to help him. I mean, like at one point, I can't remember what play it was, but I was just like, what is Aaron Brewer doing? Why is he doing? Where is he coming from?
Who pulls their center on a pass play? Who does?
They said it was like, he said it's like only 3 or 4 times, but I mean, I just, I'm just like, and Enrique asks, Zach, you don't think the Titans win the division more? Yeah, I still think Titans win the division. Does that mean anything? No, it doesn't mean anything. It's a participation trophy at this point.
So I've got a long list of things I want to ask you here that are like, is this real? Is this not real? And we'll try to address each one of these things about the situation in general surrounding the Tennessee Titans and the roster and everything. One of them is there's only one division in all of football that does not have a team with a losing record, and that division is the AFC South. Is that a lie? You betcha.
You betcha. Like I saw people overreact to Anthony Richardson's game yesterday, which was a good game, but he's still a below 60% completion percentage. He has the lowest completion percentage over expected. That means that his completion percentage should be 8 points higher and his lower than DTR yesterday. It's the lowest over the season. Let me say something. This was the Anthony Richardson that we all thought. And Anthony Richardson will probably be really good in a few years, a la Josh Allen. But to go ahead and claim that he's the second best quarterback in the division, I think is a little silly and a little early.
He might be
Now,
the
he
best.
could be in the future,
He might be the
and
best.
I don't, not disputing that, but I mean, for the people who are very scared of Anthony Richardson, the passing quarterback, watch the actual entire games, because I've gone back and watched the Anthony Richardson games because I do enjoy the quarterback. I do think that he's very talented. He's still not very good. He's still very raw. He's still very inaccurate. And right now, the Tennessee Titans could probably take advantage of it. I think they're getting Anthony Richardson at the right time, obviously, of the schedule. CJ Stroud, if we're talking AFC South, CJ Stroud, looking really, really good. But I don't know if he's played anybody that is really, really good. And I do think that he's doing stuff. Some of this stuff I have to see more. Like, I don't believe that Trevor Lawrence with one of the lowest EPAs per play is that guy. I mean, yesterday during the Jaguars game, he was like 18 average depth of target on plays when he was pressured, and then like 3.4 or 5.4 on plays that he's not pressured. So like
Yeah.
I don't know. None of this is real. I can tell you one thing. I still think the Titans are the best team in the division.
I think it's very so. This goes to Jason McDonald's point. He says it feels like we're not allowed to be optimistic, only surprised. And I would actually go the other way with that in sort of a weird twist. And this is sort of my takeaway because I think I started on Thursday's show by saying, look, I've seen a ton of teams that are bad at the beginning, grow and develop and become pretty solid football teams, varying degrees of success at the end of the year, and vice versa. We've seen teams start out 4-1, 5-1, and then just poop their way to the end of the season. You just don't know what a team is until you kind of get the entire body of work. And so what we're trying to figure out today is sort of what have we, because I have never seen a Titans team with the disparities of production and efficiency
Up and down.
that they have played in the 2 road games and the 2 home games. And the simplest, most laziest way to say this, and it's not untrue, it's true, but it's not the entire picture. And that is home and road in the NFL. The NFL is an up and down week from week to week. You can be very good one week and very bad the next.
Miami and Buffalo is like now everybody's crowning Buffalo suddenly the best team in the NFL. Where was this when last week when everybody said Miami was the best team in the NFL?
And again, no Jalen Waddle, 70 points record, almost 800 yards the next week with Waddle, can't beat Buffalo. I just think that's the nature of the sport, but that's sort of a
nature of the AFC for sure. The AFC is I can't tell if every team is really good, so everything looks worse than what it is, or if just the AFC was a little overrated. Probably a little bit of both.
Maybe, I mean, the truth is almost always sort of in the middle. And while I, as a football fan, I am excited about the quarterback play in the AFC South. I can't, especially if Levis is the guy next year, I can't wait to watch it all unfold for the next 10 years. I think that's going to be a really fun thing for football fans in general. But I just don't like those are 2 very simple, easy answers, and they are part of the equation. But I think there's way more to Mike Vrabel and Tim Kelly in particular. Their job is to level this sucker out. Like they've got to figure out how to. So to Jason's point, I think it's okay for fans to be optimistic. I never really said, I mean, I had my concerns about how they were playing, but I've always said, look, let's see. It's not time to jump ship. It's not time to do this. It's not time to do that. Maybe next week is, maybe the week after is, but for now they're 2-2. They're sort of on track. The division is winnable. I think it's okay to be optimistic about the good things you have seen from this Tennessee Titans team. And I think it's okay to have questions about the bad things. And I think you should not be surprised at anything. Like
right.
literally anything can happen. This is the point of the NFL. Is that
it's also like, what do you want to be optimistic about? Or do you just want to be optimistic that the season will at least be interesting? Because I think that's perfectly acceptable to be optimistic. It may not look great every week. Maybe it's interesting in the fact that, oh man, they look really awesome. Oh man, who is this team? How did this team beat the Bengals? Every week. But if you want to be optimistic about the Super Bowl, I'm not going to tell you not to. I would just advise heavily against it.
Yes, I agree. And for example, I picked the Lions, the Ravens, and the Bills to win their division. I'm not going to change those picks until for example, okay, I'm going to use a college football reference just because there's only one thing that I've really sort of truly changed my opinion on this early in either NFL or college season. I picked Illinois to win the Big Ten West. I'm changing that opinion. That is not what I think anymore. I don't think they're going to win the West. I think they're much worse than I expected. They have major problems, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I feel like I've learned enough to make a decision and change my mind. Even in the SEC, I've got Georgia 1, Kentucky 2, Tennessee 3, or vice versa. Like, haven't changed through 5 weeks. I'm still kind of steady on that. In the West, Alabama 1, LSU 2, A&M 3. Still feel like that's a possibility. So I'm just not like I kind of am more hesitant to overreact in one moment, which is why we're going to go through this list and sort of say, all right, what do we think we should be reacting to? Because I listen, that was as fun a game if you were in the stadium or watching at home. That is the kind of game you are a football fan to be.
I
That's the reason.
exited out yesterday. I said, when everything is clicking, when everybody's doing their jobs, it sure is a fun team to watch. The problem is that week in and week out, you can't rely on some of these people to do their job every week.